Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY, Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, straight game TV. Let's get into it. It's Wednesday night. I'm gonna wait for some of y'all to come up in here, man. We got to talk about this. Wow. Ferrari, what's up? Peace. We're gonna talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna talk about it. The Jay-Z debacle now. Take back. It's Brown Sugar, Jim D. What's good? Rudolph Manor. Yeah, we're gonna wait for a couple other people to come up in here. We got a lot to talk about, man. We're gonna get into this. Your boy DELRAY, Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, straight game TV. Thank everybody for coming in. CJ, Karan Hop. We're gonna talk about it. Jay-Z's lawyer basically exposes the fact that from what he says, Tony Buzbee, the guy filing these lawsuits, these anonymous lawsuits, Jay-Z's lawyer basically says that somebody called their law firm, right? Somebody calls Jay-Z's lawyer's law firm and claims that Tony Buzbee tried to coerce a woman into false allegations against Jay-Z. Yes, that's what's being thrown from Jay-Z's attorney, and Jay-Z's basically staying on the offensive. There's another something else that came out. I'm gonna get into that a little bit later, but Hydro Flicks, Mr. Block Ice, Kevin, aka Mr. K. So basically, look, man, Jay-Z's lawyer is firing back, basically saying that, look, somebody called their law firm, right? Called Jay-Z's lawyer's law firm, basically saying that Tony Buzbee, and informing the judge in the case in where Tony Buzbee filed the Jane Doe lawsuit, basically saying that the young lady said that Tony Buzbee tried to force her into making false allegations. Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spiro, says the woman reached out to his firm, Quinn Emanuel. Quinn Emanuel is the name of the law firm. On the other night, on Monday night, to share her experience with Buzbee's firm, according to the declaration filed Tuesday morning in federal court. So Jay-Z's lawyer filed a declaration, basically like an affidavit, if you will, filed an affidavit with the court on filed it on Tuesday morning in federal court. One of Mr. Spiro's associate said the young lady called the office, got a call from a woman who said that she had previously contacted Tony Buzbee's law firm seeking representation over allegations of sex trafficking and abuse, right? Then she said the woman said that she reached out to Buzbee because she'd seen his solicitation for anyone who may have been potentially a victim of Sean P. Diddy Combs. But she made it clear that her allegations were not related to Diddy. Despite that, she claims Buzbee's associate asked, at what point did you meet Diddy? The young lady said she had told him that she wasn't calling in reference to Diddy, but the associate still went ahead and said, at what point did you meet Diddy? She also claims that Buzbee's firm pressed her to file a lawsuit anonymously, and also discouraged her from filing a criminal complaint. She claims she felt directed and coached by Mr. Buzbee's firm to say that someone held her down and put drugs in her mouth uh, when that was not her experience. Wow. Spiro's associate says the woman told her she felt forced to lie. And when she refused to change her story, she says Buzbee's firm dropped her as a client. Spiro says the woman contacted his firm because she felt Buzbee's contact discredits those who are legitimate victims. And she wanted to do so anonymously because she feared retaliation from Mr. Buzbee. Now, it's ironic that someone would call Jay-Z's lawyer's law firm in reference to this situation because just recently, not too long ago, should I said, um, Tony Buzbee had came out and said that Jay-Z was allegedly, this was on Deadline, the newspaper article, should have said the online magazine Deadline, basically saying that Jay-Z was hiring or paying people $1,000 to file lawsuits against Tony Buzbee's law firm. The ironic part about that, the attorney Tony Buzbee had sent a or should I said put a post on his Instagram, if you will, and basically saying alleging that Jay-Z was hiring paying people $1,000 to file lawsuits against his law firm, when in fact there was somebody in the middle of the comments in there basically saying that the three guys that were shown on the picture in the post that Tony Buzbee made, that one of those guys, that he knew them and he hung out somewhere at HEB's in Cypress, Texas, I believe that is, and that he was hired by Tony Buzbee. I don't think y'all heard me. One of the gentlemen that was on the picture that Tony Buzbee posted on his Instagram, alleging that Jay-Z had hired these three men to, I guess, intimidate people or whatever have you. The guy in one of the comments of the post that Tony Buzbee had made basically said that he knew one of the guys in the picture that Tony Buzbee had posted, and basically said that that guy right there, he knew him, and that Tony Buzbee had actually hired the guy that Tony Buzbee was basically trying to say that Jay-Z hired. So there's a lot of trying to dirty up each other right now. There's a war of words. And like I said, more importantly, the 236-page, should I say, motion or answer to the lawsuit that Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, filed, right, alleged that Tony Buzbee said that Jay-Z had, there were multiple, should I say, multiple accusations of SB and all of these other things, if you will, in regarding minors, right? Now, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we have to be very careful about the information that we take in. It costs nobody nothing to try to slander somebody and say that they did all of these egregious things, if you will. There's been not one proof of evidence that Jay-Z did anything. Once again, most people are not even paying attention. We say it's too late. So many believe Jay-Z is guilty. Well, once again, so many, better yet, know so little, Jay. So I'm gonna say it once again, so many people know so little because there's nothing to be known. These are merely allegations alleged by an attorney, right, who Jay-Z's lawyer is saying that one of his former clients called and said that Tony Buzbee allegedly tried to get her to lie against Jay-Z and against Diddy, if you will. So now, with that being said, most people don't understand right now that Tony Buzbee has the burden of proof that he has to prove. Let me tell you what I think is going to happen. Tony Buzbee's gonna. This is my thoughts. Tony Buzbee's gonna basically say that the young lady that tried to sue Jay-Z, it wanted to back out. She no longer wants to go through with the lawsuit, is what I think we're gonna hear. Because to me, I don't really think there is anybody. I think I think it was all a shakedown, if you will, and it didn't work. But now that the lawsuit has been filed, they're saying that, okay, well, you know, we're going to go through with it. We're going to have our day in court and so on and so forth. And you see that Jay-Z basically said, well, if you think that I've done something, then file a criminal claim. Don't file just a civil claim, file a criminal complaint, if you will, right? And once again, it seems like Tony Buzbee's trying to fight this case out through TMZ, through Deadline, through all of these other social media platforms, if you will, newspaper or reporting platforms, and not have a good case in regards to that. Let me remind you, Tony Buzbee has filed other cases that and this is the reason why I say I think that this case will end like that. He's filed other cases and where he says that the alleged victim did not want to put their name out there and did not no longer want to pursue the case. So the question remains is this: does the victim only want to pursue the case when they can remain anonymously and not really seek justice like one would seek justice and saying, okay, cool, let's go file a case and or criminal case? Because like Jay-Z said, if anybody did any heinous acts like this with a 13-year-old child, they belong in prison, right? This is not the same thing as the Sean P. Diddy Combs case. It simply is not. And most people got it mixed up once again. So now, I told you guys the other day, there was a case filed by Tony Buzbee and wherein Sean P. Diddy Combs' lawyers basically challenged the fact that the alleged accuser, Jane Doe, had to reveal her identity. And in fact, that case was dropped because the young lady did not want to reveal her identity, right? So now, why wouldn't that person want to reveal their identity if they feel like they were wronged from someone who is still in prison? If you were wrong, you were wrong. Once again, we seen Cassie come out and make her allegations. We seen the tape. We seen it. And like I said, before we even saw the tape, she had made her allegations. But the proof was in the pudding as far as the domestic violence on Sean P. Diddy Combs' part was in the pudding when we saw the tape. But Cassie had made allegations and things like that. People were saying what they will. Diddy immediately settled. Now you have these other lawsuits who are alleging, if you want to get paid like Cassie, you got to come out and you got to mention your name. It simply is not going to go down like that where people, well, and the young lady who saying that she felt like she was forced to lie, she's basically saying what? They also wanted me to file anonymously. Why? And she didn't. Whatever. I don't know if whether she felt like filing anonymously or not. But that's what she said. So she basically saying she felt coerced by Tony Buzbee's law firm, according to the reports. She felt coerced to lie. Right? Yeah. I don't know who Jay Social Media is. Jay-Z is guilty. It's a civil lawsuit. Like I said, once again, I don't know if Jay-Z is guilty or innocent, and neither does Jay Civil lawsuit, or Jay, whoever Jay is, right? He doesn't know either. So like I said, once again, and if you do know something that you don't know, that we don't know, please go and put it on your YouTube page so we can check it out, because we would love to know what you know if you know something that we don't know. Right. Like I said, once again, all of these lawsuits have been filed anonymously. When Sean P. Diddy Combs' lawyer said that the young lady and the judge ruled in the case, in the one civil lawsuit against Sean P. Diddy Combs, that the young lady had to reveal herself, right? Or the case would be dismissed. The young lady did not reveal herself, and the case was dismissed. I don't think Tony Buzbee understands what's about to happen. In Jay-Z's situation, I think the judge said there probably was enough evidence to move forward. But I think it's ultimately gonna end bad for Tony Buzbee. And the reason why is this. You're talking about something that allegedly happened 20 years ago. 20 years ago. At the time that it happened, for all of these years, nobody felt like filing a lawsuit until Diddy got arrested, right? And so now it's saying, oh, Diddy and Jay-Z, right? The attempt to try to, according to Jay-Z, extort him behind the scenes didn't work. And I think that Tony Buzbee thought that it would work against Jay-Z, but it didn't. Jay-Z said, no, I'm not paying you a dime. As a matter of fact, I'm going to file my lawsuit against you, right? Absolutely, Fred Fells. See, you understand what it is. You understand what it is. A 13-year-old, no cell phone, no social media, no ID, but she out here trying to get to the VMAs. And then how they concoct the story up, right? Once again, when Jay-Z, listen to this, when Jay-Z filed his lawsuit against Tony Buzbee, that's when Tony Buzbee then filed the lawsuit because he had to. Most people are not paying attention to that. Are y'all listening? Jay-Z filed his lawsuit first, basically saying that Tony Buzbee was trying to extort him for money. Wasn't that a preemptive move? That was an awesome move. Like I said, once again, when you feel like you are being extorted for money. So Jay-Z just got the demand letter to his lawyer talking about, yeah, we want X amount of dollars or we're going to file this lawsuit. So Jay-Z proceeded to do what? To file his own lawsuit. This was in 2000 at the VMAs. Alex Jones, who is not really Alex Jones, but got a picture of Alex Jones up there, right? Once again, some limo driver alleged to gave this girl a ride to some party, and Jay-Z and them was there, and she felt like it was something. They gave her a drink or some liquor. Come on, y'all. 13 gave her some drink, some liquor, right? She said that she tried to fight him off. You know, Jay-Z 6 foot something, and Puffy 5 something, whatever. And it was all of this, that, and the other. I mean, it sounds like a very scripted thing, right? From a lawyer's perspective, in writing out a case that's trying to be convincing and trying to get some kind of settlement through public opinion. But most people didn't pay attention to that. Jay-Z filed a lawsuit first against Tony Buzbee as a John Doe, basically saying that he was trying to extort him. A guilty man does not do that. A guilty man, knowing that they did something that is being alleged as heinous as this, 9 times out of 10 would have settled to avoid the bad publicity. But Jay-Z is confronting it head on. Not only is he confronting it head on, he's saying, I'll explain to my children who may see this information and question me, as well as their friends who they go to school with, asking them questions about their father in regards to this negative publicity. We don't know if she was 13 or 31. We don't know who she is because she's anonymous. We don't even know if the person actually exists. Michelle, you funny. Michelle said her 14-year-old girlfriend dropped her off at the award show. Right. and her 2000 big body Benz. Right. See, right. But like I said, once again, what I'm talking about now is the fact that Jay-Z's lawyer said that one of Tony Buzbee's former clients called his office and basically said that Tony Buzbee is trying to get young ladies to basically make false allegations against high profile celebrities and sending out these demand letters and trying to obtain quick settlements, if you will. This is Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's attorney, if you will, right? Tony Buzbee said this is ridiculous. If someone calls our intake and has a viable case that we believe has merit and we can pursue, we will pursue it. We are currently pursuing hundreds of cases against individuals other than Diddy. What we won't do is pursue a case that we don't believe has merit. This is in regards to the young lady that basically called. And the crazy part is this, you know, they keep putting all of these pictures of Jay-Z and Diddy out together, trying to insinuate or get one to believe that there was something nefarious going on behind the scenes of these pictures that they keep putting up. Absolutely. It doesn't make any sense. But if you want a quick settlement, you're going to put the underage thing on there. You're going to try to do all of these things to try to obtain the settlement. But Jay-Z said, no, we're going to court. I'm telling y'all what's going to happen. Alex Shapiro, I'm sorry, Tony Buzbee, I believe, is going to say that the young lady did not no longer want to pursue the case anymore, and the case will be dropped. So we're not even talking about impossible. We're talking about someone right now who is remaining anonymous, based on the fact that from what the young lady's saying here, that it is Tony Buzbee who's recommending that they file lawsuits and being remaining anonymous, right? So in the letter that Tony Buzbee sent to Jay-Z, he basically said that Jay-Z was responsible for multiple male and female, right, victims, if you will, right? But like I said, once again, we have seen no evidence at all to corroborate anything that Tony Buzbee is basically saying. He said that he had 120 victims against Sean P. Diddy Combs. That's what he said when he did the press conference. We have seen probably 8 to 10 lawsuits, and most of those lawsuits did not make it any further than I would say Tony Buzbee's office, based on the fact that what he said, that the victims did not want to mention their name. Once again, is it only when they can remain anonymous do they have a case? Or do they have a case? Or do they even exist? And these cases are not being fabricated from that perspective in order to gain a quick settlement against high profile individuals with these salacious, embarrassing, and what could be defamatory statements being made against Jay-Z as well as others. Well, it's not even, like I said, that would be Fred Fells. That would be more plausible, right? But the accusation that was made was based on some 13-year-old young lady. And the reason why that was made, I believe, that way was because it sounds more embarrassing, right? And makes Jay-Z sound like some sort of a petty, if you will, right? And so when reading that in a demand letter, that these allegations are going to be made and that they supposedly have someone who was this individual at that particular time, right? Most people, like I said, depending on where you are in your career, but Jay-Z doesn't really, I wouldn't say doesn't need to work, but like I said, he ain't really starving, to have to go on tour or for doing none of those things. So I think Tony Buzbee picked the wrong person. He picked the wrong person in picking Jay-Z, like I said once again. And like, how do you prove that anything like this even happened? Yeah, like I said, once again, this is an allegation about a 13-year-old, if you will, right? And once again, I don't think Tony Buzbee really thought this through. And what I'm telling you is going to happen, what I believe is going to happen, he's going to say, the young lady no longer pursue the case against Jay-Z. But that doesn't guarantee that Jay-Z, once again, Jay-Z will drop his lawsuit against Tony Buzbee. You see what I'm saying? Jay-Z still might want to pursue that and basically said, hey, you made allegations or accusations in court or in a court filing saying that you had someone who wanted to remain anonymous. And I think that anonymous thing also kind of protects Tony Buzbee a little bit, because then he can say, oh, they didn't want to go through with the case. And now it goes away when the ploy didn't work. You understand what I'm saying? Right? The reason why I got it, it just came to me, y'all. It just came to me. It just came to me. Let's listen to this. I want you to understand. The reason why I think these cases are being filed anonymously, watch this. This is it. I got it now. The reason why they're being filed anonymously is because Tony Buzbee can basically say, oh, the alleged victim didn't want to pursue the case. They didn't want to go forward with the case, right? That protects him, and that protects the person that didn't really exist, if you will, if they did exist. Get it? So you never, because if you put the person's name in the case, think about it. If you allege that this person with this name, then Jay-Z, Puffy, or whoever else, even though the person drops the case, can also sue that person for defamation by making the allegations in the court filing, even if they drop the case. That's why they want the cases to be filed anonymously. There you have it. I get it now. I get it. I get it. Like I told you, the young lady who sued Diddy, the judge said, yo, you're going to have to reveal yourself because Sean P. Diddy Combs has a right to know and confront his accuser, right? They challenged it. The judge said by the 13th of, what was it? The 13th of November? The 13th of November, if you don't have, a new filing in, then basically the case would be dropped. The case has been dropped, y'all. They ain't even talking about that. Well, the same thing is, it's not the same thing for Tupac. The Tupac situation is totally different. Black Cash Dreams. Tupac actually had a relationship with the young lady. She was actually there in the hotel room. They had a relation. So Tupac's situation would not be applicable here in regards to this. But I just gave you the gem. The gem is this: you file the case under a Jane Doe. Why? Because if Tony Buzbee decides that, hey, you know what? If there is we don't even know if this person exists, man. We like I said, there's been a lot of people making videos about, oh, Jay-Z this and oh, it's that, and the sensationalism. You heard Jamie Foxx just come out the other day and do his comedy special, and he said nothing about being drugged by Puffy. When Jamie Foxx was going through what he was going through, people had videos up talking about that Jamie was drugged by Puffy. And it didn't happen. Nowhere near that. Jamie had a stroke. And like he said, he explained everything. He did say nothing about Sean P. Diddy Combs, other than he said when he died, when he felt like he died, he was going down the tunnel. He was like, did I see the devil? Or was it P. Diddy? You know what I mean? Everybody started laughing. He was like, no, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Yeah, like I said, once again, it doesn't even matter about who had a party. Once again, there was nothing nefarious going on. We're talking about, I'm telling you now, listen, man, the guy Tony Buzbee had said he had 120 plaintiffs, man. He had 120 plaintiffs. Each and every lawsuit that he has filed has been anonymous. As we know today, Tony Buzbee has not received any kind of settlement that we know of from Jay-Z, Sean P. Diddy Combs, those two people at least, right? But I just told you the gem. The gem is this. You file the lawsuit anonymously, right? Therefore, it doesn't have a victim name in it, because even if they decide to drop the case, if you mention the victim's name, right? Jay-Z or Sean P. Diddy Combs could then go and file a defamation suit, even if the person decided to drop the case. That's why they're filing it anonymously, hoping to obtain a settlement. But it has not worked. Do y'all understand that? I just gave you the gaping hole. You understand what I'm saying? So most people are sitting back entertaining these accusations or allegations, and none of them are true as of yet. Jay-Z said, I'm not giving up one red penny. Yeah, Tony Buzbee had the 1-800 number. That's what the young lady basically said. The young lady said, look, the young lady said, she said the woman said she reached out to Buzbee because she'd seen his solicitation for anyone who had been a potential victim of Sean P. Diddy Combs. But she made it clear her allegations were not related to Diddy. Despite that, she claims that somebody from Tony Buzbee's office, an associate, at what point still asked, at what point did you meet Diddy, right? She also claims that Buzbee's firm pressed her to file a lawsuit anonymously. Why? Why would he press her to file a lawsuit anonymously? Because once again, if you send out a demand letter and it doesn't work, right? And you can say, well, and if they press the issue in court, basically saying that, say, let's say the defendant files a motion saying, hey, you know what? I deserve to know who this person is, because you may not know who the person is, or the person may not exist, right? And the judge said in Sean P. Diddy P. Diddy Combs' case that, yo, the new filing need to be filed by November 13th, and it needed to consist of this a plaintiff's name. Tony Buzbee didn't file a lawsuit. It went away. Nobody's talking about that, y'all. Nobody's talking about that. Why they not talking about that? Jay-Z just did the same thing. There are no tapes, man. There are no tapes. They don't have any tapes. Like I said, y'all heard about the book when we did. Like I said, we did the when we did the interview with the guy Chris Todd over on the Art of Dialogue. Go check that interview out if y'all haven't seen it yet, right? When we did the interview over there at the Art of Dialogue, you go and if you watch the video with the guy Chris Todd, who actually put this book out. This is the actual book that he held up during the interview. He gave it to me. You see, it says not for resale, right? A justice, a journey for justice from the other side by Jamal T. Millwood. Jamal T. Millwood didn't exist. Y'all see the pattern? The alleged person on here who it was alleged to had wrote this book did not exist. Jamal T. Millwood did not exist. And it was supposed to be by Kimberly Porter. right? Not by Jamal T. Millwood for Kimberly Porter. That's somebody who's fascinated with their own ego. After we did the interview, after I did the interview over on the Art of Dialogue with the guy, Chris Todd, who claimed to be associated with this book, 2 hours later, they pulled the book off of Amazon. I questioned him about all of his sources. I questioned him about some of the things that were in the book that I knew couldn't be true because I was present for some of those things involving Tupac. For the people that don't know. Well, Black Cash, I can't even say that. Like I said, once again, um, you know, not putting somebody back in their place. How can you do that if the accusations are false? Jay-Z, like I said, Jay-Z saying, basically saying, hey, I never was out my place. And the place that I now stand in, I've earned it. And we've seen them all earn it for the people who bought his music and supported him, so on and so forth. I don't do low-key hating, man. I don't need nobody to establish anything for me. Like Jay-Z's a self-made man, right? You know, worked hard to get where he at. You know what I mean? Got wife, beautiful wife, kids. Wife's international superstar. He's an international rapper, international rap star. Well, like I said, once again, it doesn't even matter. This book right here, everything in it, listen to me, man. Everything in this book was false. I seen the guy, what's his name? Courtney B, if they call it Courtney B. He basically said that he was doing it for Pac. He wasn't around Pac doing death row times. You know, he blamed this. He was doing it for Pac. They said the guy Jamal T. Millwood was an alias that Tupac used, so that when Sean Puffy Combs read this book while he was behind bars, he would know that it was a shot for Tupac. No, it wasn't. You see the picture on this book right here? They didn't even have permission to actually use the picture that's on this book right here. It was so fraudulent and it was so frivolous, if you will, and such a fraud. That's how you know that you would have to go to Kim Porter's estate to be able to use a picture of her in selling some book. Most people didn't even know that. They ran out to buy it. And like I said, if you know about copyrights and the law and all of those things and the rights to publicity and all of those things, you would have known that immediately. The first thing that they snatched was not the book off the shelves at Amazon, but they made him take the picture of her off the book because they didn't have permission. What up, Kareem Smith from Vegas? What's happening? Yeah, well, like I said, 662 Paru. It ain't even whether we believe Jay-Z, right? Because at the end of the day, there's no evidence saying anything. Shit, and I'm gonna say it. I don't know if you just came in 662 Paru, but check this out. The reason that they filing anonymous Jane Doe lawsuits is this: because if the ploy does not work, listen to me very carefully, man. I'm giving you some of this straight game. Some of this straight game. Check this out. The reason that they're filing anonymous lawsuits, as you see, they tried to send a demand letter to Jay-Z first, threatening him and basically saying they had multiple underage accusers, boys and girls, right? Hopefully that Jay-Z would crack and fold, right? But if you know that you've done nothing wrong, you would need not to crack and fold. You say, well, most people would have settled to avoid the bad publicity. That may be true, and it may not be true. Based on Jay-Z's feelings, it's not true. He's saying, don't just file a civil lawsuit, file the criminal one too. So now you got to bring the person, the young lady. Now she has to come up in court And Jay-Z then has a right to confront his accuser. This is for the intelligent people. This is not for the people who want to believe anything or anything that somebody's saying because they might hate Jay-Z because he's successful. I'm talking about facts, man. Listen to this. Check it out. So the lawsuit then gets filed with the Jane Doe. Why? Because if Tony Buzbee's law firm wants to basically say, hey, you know what? Jane Doe didn't really want to go through with the lawsuit, right? There is not a name attached to the lawsuit so that Jay-Z or whomever else can file a defamation suit even if they decide to not to go through with the case. Because see, you made an accusation, which is defamatory in the filing of a in a filing in the court of law, right? Oh, yeah, you can go file a defamation charges against the individual who alleged that you did some things that didn't happen. That's why they're filing them anonymously. That's why the young lady who Jay-Z's lawyer said came to her law firm basically said she also claims let me give this to you again. She said, what she say? She said, the woman said she reached out to Buzbee because she had seen his solicitation for anyone who may have been a potential victim of Sean P. Diddy Combs. That's why she reached out to Tony Buzbee's law firm. But she made it clear that her allegations were not related to Diddy. Despite that, she claims that Buzbee's associate asked, at what point did you meet Diddy? So it was like they were hell-bent on trying to, get somebody to say something, that wasn't true. She also claims Buzbee's firm pressed her to file a lawsuit anonymously. Why are they pressing potential clients to file lawsuits anonymously? This is the young lady who called Jay-Z's lawyer. They're basically saying, yo, he tried to get me to, he pressed me to file a lawsuit anonymously. Why? And also discourage her from filing a criminal complaint. So they're basically saying the young lady said that Tony Buzbee's firm pressed her to file a lawsuit anonymously and also discouraged her from filing a criminal complaint. Why? Because of what I just told you. When you file a criminal complaint, you have a right to confront your accuser. You have a right to confront your accuser also in the civil case also, but more importantly, in a criminal complaint, it's different. Now, why, if someone who was alleged to have done what Jay-Z had done, why would somebody not want to file a criminal complaint? That's why Jay-Z said that. Jay-Z knows a little bit about the law. Remember when he said 99, what'd he say? I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Listen, we forgetting the history, man. It's not about defending Jay-Z. It's about being able to receive justice equally across the board. If you hate Jay-Z, then that's why you hate Jay-Z. That doesn't have anything to do with somebody being alleged to have done something that was unbecoming, right? Because somebody's looking for a payday. I know I wouldn't want it to happen to me. I know I wouldn't want it to happen to anybody in this chat right now. Yeah, Tupac didn't like Jay-Z. He felt like he was siding with Biggie. That has nothing to do with the conversation that we're having right now. Jay-Z doesn't need to be the people's champ. I'm my champ. I'm the champ for my children and my family. I'm not looking for nobody to ride for me. I don't need Jay-Z to speak for me. I'm talking about the situation involving someone who's doing something that Jay-Z's lawyer saying is illegal, and he caught them doing something that was unbecoming and unlawful. There are no tapes, man. There are no tapes. There are no tapes. They had Courtney Burgess come to the grand jury, and once they asked him about the hard drives that he was supposed to have, he said he was no longer in possession of them. He never had them. They were out here bluffing. They were giving people screen and airtime to make crazy accusations that were unfounded and were not backed by any type of evidence. Absolutely. Distractions, man. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm not with the politics of the business at this particular point. I'm talking about what Jay-Z lawyer basically said that he discovered in regard to Tony Buzbee trying to basically coerce, you know what I mean? Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spiro, claims that Buzbee tried to coerce women into false allegations. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, that somebody could say anything, but like I said, once again, proving that that happened from that perspective is a whole different thing. Fred Fells, that's not what this been. This is something that is alleged to happen 24 years ago. 24 years ago by a young lady who they claim is 13 years old. I just gave you the ploy and the play that they're trying to make. Once again, they filed the lawsuit anonymously so that there's not a name attached if there's any name at all. So you file it under a Jane Doe. Why? Because if you file it under a Jane Doe and the person does not settle or negotiate with you like you want them to, you can always say, you know what, uh, my client didn't want to go forward through with the lawsuit. She felt threatened and so on and so forth. You can come up with some old crazy lame ass statement, right? Yeah. But then there's nobody else to sue on the defamation level, in relation to making those accusations that were made in the lawsuit. It's simple. It's simple. Well, not only that, from what I understand, they say Tony Buzbee lived next to the owner of the Houston Texans. Did you know about that? Boom. I don't know if it's true, but you might want to look that one up. Yeah. So, like I said, we're gonna see what happens with this one, man. Jay-Z saying he ain't giving up no money, and yeah, and Jay-Z or Beyonce say basically, you know what? We're not lying down on this one. They're gonna back up the cash truck for this, man. They got long money too. And like I said, once again, you can only imagine how Beyonce feel. Like, yo, you coming after my man? Despite the problems that they may have had or not had in their relationship, it is what it is. So Fred Fells, I'm asking you that question. Does Tony, since you say, yeah, you there in Houston, does Tony Buzbee live next to the owner of the Houston Texans? Okay, now so now, so when Deshaun Watson was ready to leave and he made it his business to let him know he wanted to leave. That's when them charges came about, ain't it? Yeah. Okay, there you have it. This ain't the first rodeo, man. This ain't the first rodeo, especially being par for Texas. And how all of that went down, the massage parlor and these anonymous people and all of this play has been played before, but it has not been played against someone like Jay-Z. And I guarantee you that Jay-Z won't settle. Right. I mean, it wasn't a dirty laundry. He was going to massage parlors. And I'm sure they was doing a little something strange for some change. Ain't no, you know what I mean? Right? Then came time, well, yeah, you can, or you if you feel like you've been wrong, call this number. The same thing that just happened here with the Diddy thing. If you feel like you've been wrong, call this 1-800 number, 1-800 Diddy. Diddy did it to me, or whatever you want to call it. Absolutely. Absolutely. It was crazy, man. So, like I said, once again, we're going to see what happens with this. Alex Spiro saying that the girl called his law firm saying that, Tony Buzbee tried to get her to lie and basically make false allegations, if you will. And Tony Buzbee basically calling it ridiculous. Jay-Z's lawyer filed an affidavit in court, basically stating this. And so we're gonna see where this goes from here, y'all. We're gonna see where it goes. Like I said, I don't believe that Jay-Z did anything like that to no 13-year-old in the year 2000. They don't even, the cold part about the game. When you think about Jay-Z's success as far as being, a big artist or whatever, they're basing it off of what Jay-Z has now. Go back to 2000, right? Jay-Z was hot. He was hot. Let's be clear. But yeah. When Diddy before Diddy got arrested, everything was cool. Y'all not even paying attention to what's going on, man. You got to pay attention to what's going on, man. Pay attention to what's going on. I feel like it's a money grab and it's not gonna work. And at the end of the day, when Jay-Z gets done, if he does this the way he's supposed to do it, yeah. Man. So like I said, your boy DELRAY, appreciate y'all coming by, man. Straight game.